Would you say that then, like, coal mining almost has like this sort of root, not just in the Appalachian music, but all throughout country?
Yeah, and it's almost got its own like vibe, like its own genre. When somebody sings a coal mining song, no matter where they're from or what country, that coal mining, something about it. I don't know if it's just like a sad ballady thing because of what the coal mines are all about, but every coal mining song I hear, it's like it's in the same box. It's in the same genre.
Yep.
It's pretty amazing, like something can do that.
Welcome to Muttering Pines, the show where us city folk try to cowpoke. We drink beer, talk about ATVs, life outside the city, homesteading, entrepreneurship, and ultimately trying to do stuff with our hands. Hello, boys.
Hello, friends.
Oh, how are we doing? Scott, I feel like I haven't talked to you in forever.
Yeah, well...
Oh, because you didn't show up to your own organized episode last time. That's why.
That's right. That is why we didn't talk, yes.
Right.
And to make matters worse, I went to Vancouver.
Yeah, the softest place on earth.
We had a great chat with your knife guy.
Yeah, it was fantastic.
Yes, you did. Awesome. Yeah.
It was almost better. Yeah, so appreciate it.
So is he the new me? He's just going to hop on here in a second? I just have to get out?
We're here to tell you that you're going to have to disconnect here in about 5 minutes because Nathan's going to come on and do the rest of the episode with us. This is we do have a musical number. Not that they'll be singing, but
the hills are alive.
Yeah, it's Matt. Matt is on here. I guess before we get into this, we're way behind. Let's cheers.
Oh, can't open that.
Oh, Matt, what have you got there tonight, my friend?
This is a poor man's old fashioned.
So just straight whiskey.
Is it just straight whiskey, Matt?
We did a video about this. It's called a really old fashioned.
It's a poor man's old fashioned, as in I poured what my friend gave me into a glass and gave up on everything else. So
yeah, that's a really old fashioned.
Yeah. No, I didn't even pay for this. You did.
But didn't you though?
Truth be out there, yes. I did have to actually go buy the bottle that my kids smashed that you gave me, but I don't appreciate it any different. So
okay, good.
I was just super angry.
I mean, the weird thing about that is that like we all like wish our families were around less, but the guests we have tonight, they are family, and they do everything together.
Well, hopefully they don't do everything together, but they are a family band, and we have Chris and Donnie Davisson from the Davisson Brothers Band out of West Virginia coming on tonight, and they play I guess it's called Appalachian Country. It's kind of like a rock country vibe. It's pretty sweet, and they're here to talk to us for some reason. All right, today we are joined by Chris and Donnie Davisson of the Davisson Brothers Band out of West Virginia. Hello, guys. How you doing?
Hello. Good. How are you guys? Thanks for having us.
Thanks for coming on. You guys, you look like you're in a proper recording studio, which now that I've said it makes sense.
Yeah, we've been doing a little rehearsing and a couple other things in here. It's a little writing room and recording room.
I love it. So are you like at home right now, or are you on the road?
We are in West Virginia.
We're home in West Virginia.
That's
it's
awesome.
late for you then.
Be on the road tomorrow.
We split our time here where we originally from in Nashville, about half and half, where we tour about 200 days a year and probably on the road about 250 days a year. So.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
How's that? Is it taxing, or is it you love it?
Yeah, it's kind of one of them things where
it's all we know. We don't know anything else.
We get out and can't wait to get home, and get home for a week or two and can't wait to get out. So
yeah, yeah, that's good.
We love the road. We love the road, but we love West Virginia, where we're from over here. We love the outdoors. We still have the big family farm, and We do a little hunting and fishing and hanging out. We camp. We got a place on the trout stream up the road a little ways, and I don't know. We just, when we're not touring or writing or in the studio, we're home in West Virginia enjoying the mountains, I guess.
That's yeah,
Jealous.
that's like, yep, that's getting all our juices going. Why don't we talk about touring and the album and stuff a little bit, and then we can get a little redneck if you want.
Sure.
Okay, so you guys have a new album coming out sometime soon, and you got 3 singles that you've released so far.
Yes.
April 28th. The album will be released April 28th. Home is where the heart is, and the first single we released off of it was Mountain High, and then it's kind of a fun mountain jammy, just the way the title sounds, and
Yeah.
and then we released a ballad, a love song ballad kind of thing called Cross My Heart, and it's still like an outdoorsy country down by the river thing ballad, and then the third one's Eastern Kentucky. That's the single that's out right now. So we're excited about the release for the record. We're going to release it, like I said, on April 28th, and then on the 29th we'll be playing the Grand Ole Opry to
Oh, man.
kick off the release. So we're
your
really
first time at the
excited. We're
Grand-
excited about the record release and the Grand Ole Opry show. So
Yeah, is the Grand Ole Opry show, is that your first time playing it?
It's not. We
nice.
played it once before, so
it's our second time doing it, and we can't wait.
Incredible.
The first time we played it was like the greatest experience ever. Like that is that state. There's just some kind of magic in that Opry that just takes over. It's pretty amazing. Like we've played all over the world and a lot of different stages and a lot of different environments and everything. But there's something about the Grand Ole Opry that kind of it takes over when you step in that circle, man. There's something magical about it.
We read that about you, actually. Now, we read that you have a following in Australia, and that from your point of view, country music fans internationally are all the same. I wanted to talk a little bit about that because I think that's fascinating that culture is everywhere because it's from where you're from.
it is. We had a fellow. His name was Rob Potts. He'd been very instrumental in bringing Keith Urban to the U.S. and he just a legendary guy. He was a promoter, a manager from a lot of big Australian bands, and he decided in the latter part of his career he wanted to open a record label and bring an act from the U.S. to do a reverse Keith Urban. And after going through hundreds of acts, he found us with our producer Keith Stegall at the time, and they put a song on the radio 3 months before we got over, and we got out on an airplane and had a video out on their CMT over, and we couldn't get off the plane without paparazzi and cameras, and it was amazing.
Incredible.
It's like you were right. It's like they relate to the same. I don't know. It's Australia pretty much. The first time we were there, it was like they get it. They get the Appalachian, West Virginia, our culture thing. I think it is really similar. Like there's just as much coal mining as in Australia as there is over here in West Virginia and Kentucky, but it's almost like just. And they're small and it's laid back and it's kind of like that small town country thing. The entire country of Australia, they get it, man. They hardworking folks that like to have a good time and like good music, like just kind of how we grew up and our family and everything. I don't know, it just went over really well.
Oh, that's incredible.
I never would have made that connection with the coal mining in Australia versus
the first night at we did CMC Rocks, which is a huge festival over there, and we get out on stage and my brother's like, well, let's do Country Roads, and I'm like, well, we're this far from home, they're not gonna know it. Literally, there's 30,000 folks singing Country Roads back to us. Like I stepped off the microphone and they just sang it word for word. Like it was unreal. I mean, Country Roads is a big anthem over here. Everybody sings it at all of our shows, but when you're that far from home and you have that many people singing along, it was unreal. It was amazing.
That's incredible.
That's gonna put a nice smile on your face.
Yeah, so it was like right off the bat, we knew that they understood and they were relating with what the music we were putting out.
So the tour you've got planned for this album, are you going to return to Australia? Is Australia on the list?
We are. I think we're heading back to Australia in August, probably for
Oh,
about
nice.
2 to 3 weeks.
Oh, good. Yeah.
It's
Australia
great.
in August.
It's
That's
a
the
good
first
Winter
time.
for them.
Yes.
That's the first public announcement of that. So you're the first to hear it. So
Oh,
No way. Wow.
It's awesome once you get there. It's a long flight to get there, but once you
Yeah.
get there, it's worth it.
yeah. I have some
Definitely.
family rolling through Manitoba or from Manitoba through Calgary right now that are from Australia that were visiting. They were here over the
Wow.
weekend. So they're sort of top of mind. So it's that's really exciting. And yeah, I think it's fascinating that that far away people can be having the same sort of experience. So when they hear your sound, it makes sense
Exactly.
to them. We were talking about this a little bit before you got on. So where we're from here in Calgary in Alberta and Canada, we have like a ranch tradition is where our country music comes from here. So it sounds different than yours, and we're not musicians, so we don't really know how sound evolves like that. And we were curious how that Appalachian sound comes together for you, and you know where your influences are.
Okay, is it Appalachian or you said it a different way?
Appalachian.
Appalachian.
Okay.
It's
It's,
is that how that's how it's proper pronounced, Appalachian?
it's Appalachian, you know. But if you're from here, it's Appalachia, the Appalachian Mountains. You know, that's the way we say it. But
There's a saying it says if you call it Appalachian, we'll throw an apple at you.
That's good.
Okay. Oh.
I like it.
But no, you can say it however you want to say it. It's kind of everybody says it a little different, but I don't know. Just growing up, we come from a long line of music in the Davisson family. Our ancestors were all old mountain fiddlers, and our grandparents played at the square dances and all that. And then my dad's generation, him and his brothers and sisters, kind of were the first guitar players and learned how to play like electric guitars and acoustic guitars and piano and all that, and it kind of started going into the bluegrassy thing, and then from the bluegrass thing to the country thing. And my dad still had a little rock and roll side to him. Like his younger brother, our Uncle Pete, we grew up playing with Dad and his brother Pete. They were kind of like the original Davisson brothers when we were kids. But
That's
Uncle
cool.
Pete, like he loved like the top 40 country and the old country from Hank Sr. And my dad loved old Eric Clapton to Bob Seger. So on Friday nights we would go out with Uncle Pete and get to play all the country music. And then on Saturday night we'd go be the band for Dad and play all the classic rock and blues and all that. So we kind of got a taste of both worlds of that. But we always had that old, I don't know, hillbilly, folky, bluegrassy thing from the farm. Like when we were growing up as little kids, half the town would come to our family farm on a Saturday and Sunday, and sometimes they'd stay for 2 or 3 days and cook a bunch of food and have a big fire, and there were just people playing music all over the place from the porch to the fire, and just everybody could sing and play. Everybody had a guitar or a banjo or a mandolin or a fiddle or any, and it was just, we just grew up in, music's always been a huge part of the Davisson family life here where we're at. And,
a lot of our music, it's still handed down to us. You know, the traditional songs and the music come from the coal mines that up the hollow. Our family founded the town that we live in the 1700s. We still have an original farm that come from the original piece of property that our whole family's buried on since the 1700s. But a lot of our music come down handed through the coal miners coming from the city to work in the mines out next to our farm. And on the lunch break, they would come out of the mines and eat their lunch and pick and play for an hour during their lunch break. And our neighbors, it was one old man, he was a banjo player. He worked in the mines with these guys from the city because they didn't, you know, that was the only access to music really we had out there, was what the city guys were coming with to the mines where they was getting music in the city. But a lot of these old traditional songs that we still have in our set list today, you know, it's like the telephone thing, you know, somebody says this, somebody says that. Some of the lyrics have changed, you know, from the traditional ways, but it would come out of the mines and then to the neighbor, then the neighbor would teach it to our grandfather and our dad and uncles. And then as kids, we'd get it, and the lyrics are different here and there, and we still do some of these songs in the set, and they'll be like, "Where'd that lyric come from?" We're like, "We don't know."
Yeah, by the time it got to us, it wasn't even the right lyrics, but we made it us and made it work. So.
Handed down that over 100 years, things change a little bit. It's pretty neat.
Just different areas. I think a lot of that music comes from different areas, like guys coming to work out there in the country where our farm was at in that coal mine. I think.
Do you think you'll ever hear one of your songs back to you a different way?
What's that?
Do you think you'll ever hear one of your own songs back to you?
Yeah, we do. There's kids.
We've heard a few.
There's kids around here, that's still secluded up where we live, and we get videos, these little bars and pubs and stuff around the area that, these little young guys will be playing our music in the bars and stuff, and it's slightly different, they'll do their own little twist to it.
Yeah, a lot of those songs growing up, like we would play, and like when we had our first gigs, like playing down at the hotel on Monday nights or whatever, as kids, a lot of those songs that we thought like our grandfather and the neighbor guy, the old guy down the road might have wrote those songs. But later on, we found out those were old traditional songs that had come from miles and miles away and just got twisted a little bit, or the lyrics changed a little bit. It's pretty neat how music
similar
travels
to the ranch life. You guys, the cowboy, we call it, old cowboy songs and stuff, that it's a similar thing, just mountain, versus the ranch life. But a lot of the music still here. We just, not too long ago, we had a 90-year-old fiddler that would come open shows for us. And it was just amazing amount of knowledge. This guy, he played thousands of old fiddle songs. He'd have a young guy backing him on guitar, and got to the point where they was almost wheelchairing him out to open, we'd have 1,000 kids in these clubs, young kids, and this 90-year-old fiddler would come out and just blow the roof off.
Never missed the lick. Like, burn it up, man. Just burn that fiddle up. But I don't know. I think here in Appalachia, like this, up in the mountains and everything, kind of like your ranch style out there too, that we're secluded here a lot. We don't have any major city here in West Virginia, or we don't have any big NFL ball teams or major league teams or anything like that. So music, as far back as I can remember, and as far back as my dad and my uncles, they've always told it, like, it just always brought happiness. Like there wasn't a whole lot to do. So everybody, it seemed like, could play a guitar or sing you a song or entertain you in some way like that.
Oh,
so
wow.
that's kind of how
we
grew
write
up.
songs together. Do you make music together, like in person, jamming together with other musicians? Is that how you write songs today?
We do
both. We do both. Every now and then I'll write one by myself. He'll write one by himself. Me and him, my brother and I, write 90%. We write a lot going down the road in the bus, or one of us gets an idea, we'll call the other one and be like, "Hey man, write this down, or sing me a melody of this." But and then in Nashville, we write a lot in the writers' rooms. We have a pub deal. We write for a publishing company, and we get to go sit down in rooms with 2 or 3 other guys, or one other guy, or we do a lot of that. We write with a lot of. We've got a couple handfuls of good friends that we've written with for years, and we all kind of get what we're about and what we're writing about, and true to ourselves, and try to write with guys that know a lot about you, or you know a lot about them, and it's fun. It's always fun to get in a room with a couple other creative minds and brains and ideas, and
the outside writers that we do. We've got 4 nephews. Donnie's got a boy that's out touring right now and playing and writing. But we write as a family. There's 4 nephews. Our dad still tours 200 days a year, but he's not so much of a writer as we are. But my nephews and Donnie's boy are, they've grown up and been on stage with us since they was 3 years old. Now they're in their 20s, and they're just as powerful writers, if not better than us. And they've been along the whole ride, and they've got, this little modern new twist they're putting on things. And we kind of keep it all tight in the family as much as possible. Then we go to Nashville and get with a handful of writers down there that just add to it what we do. And most of the writers we work with have been out on tour with us and have been to our homes, have been through West Virginia, and spent, they'll come open shows and do a week run with us, and have for years. And So they kind of know us and know our environment, know what we're about, and know our whole family and our farm, and they know that lifestyle. So they know how to stay true to that. And some of these writers we write with, they do this every day, and it's like anything else. If you do something every day, we perform live every day, and second, we write, but they it's a craft. They're just lyricist guys that just have magic with words, and they really they pull things out of us that we normally, it gets us out of our box a little bit. So we use it as a tool, and they know that, and they kind of use us as a tool to get their ideas out to an act that can go, not only record it but perform it live, and it's just always evolving. We're always trying to better ourselves and become better musicians and writers.
Yeah.
That's unique to you guys, because Joe Walsh from the Eagles, I remember him saying that one of the things he was worried about was that people didn't make music together anymore. Like they weren't in a room together making it, but it sounds like that's the only way you guys do it.
That's the way. We love it like that. That's
how we record too. We record as a band. A lot of people go in and we still overdub, but our core of our recording sessions are just our band live, and then once we get that, we'll add to it. But we still record live as we would on stage pretty much.
And that writing, like I love to write. We pretty much never stop writing. Every time somebody says something, I'm writing. We're always writing, and it's good to go get with other people, because I feel like sometimes we've written that, man. Like, you kind of get in a rut sometimes, or it gets a little stale. So it's always nice to bring something fresh in like that. And it's fun. Like this new record, like my brother had a genius idea and like brought two different worlds together, like the jam band, the most awesome
bluegrass,
awesome musicians, folky, like pickers and singers and in the world, like these jam band guys that we've known our whole life. They were our heroes growing up, and then we started getting to share the stage and open for them and all that. But we've always had this plan, and then one day he was like, "Man, let's take these jam band pickers, these great pickers, and introduce them to all of our great writers in Nashville. These guys that just write hit songs. That's all they do is write. A lot of the big writers, they don't tour real hard. They write for that's their knack. That's what they do. So we went to a lodge in South Carolina and spent a few days together with the jam band greats and the writing greats from Nashville, and it happened. Like we were the songs, and just it was so much fun too. It's just like the bluegrass jam band guys just started picking pretty much. That's how it happened. It took a few hours after we all got settled in, but when the instruments come out, then all those writers we had with us, like Wyatt Durrett and Adam Hood and Channing Wilson, Rob Snake, these guys just they're phenomenal the way their brains work. But as soon as they'd never got to write, the jam band guys had never done anything like that. We'd never done anything. Those writers had never done anything like that. So it was like the first time. I don't know if anybody's ever done that before, but my brother Chris kind of put all that together and organized it, and it worked. We come out there with a bunch of good songs. Well, a bunch of the songs on the record.
Oh, that's fantastic.
I actually wanted to.
It was just like jamming. Once we got in with it, man, it was just like, and we made the record like that too. We went in there with Fergie and Brent, and we just pretty much set up and started playing, and it was like, oh, we're done, man. It was just one of those things. Like it was so much fun, you didn't want it to end. It wasn't like sitting there and tracking and singing over top of this and everything. It was fun, man. We did it like the right way, like having fun, sitting there picking and singing, and why Fergie's capturing it.
That's awesome. I actually wanted to talk to you a little bit about the singles, and kind of tie into what you're just saying here and how the album was made. First of all, we do usually ask one question of our guests. Are you guys partaking in any beverages this evening?
We normally do, but we got to leave for Nashville bright and early, and it's about a 10.
Believe me, I seen you take a drink, and I got a little thirsty.
Just killing me inside. Yeah.
What we call pop down here in the hills.
A soda pop.
Oh. Hey, we call it pop too, and everyone else calls it soda. And we're like, no, that's wrong.
Yeah, all right. I'm glad you guys caught
Yeah,
pop.
it's
And-
pop.
and a lot of
Okay.
places we go, we're like, what is pop? I'm
Yeah, I
like,
know.
I don't know,
Texans
that's
get
what-
real mad about that. Texans don't like that at all for
Yeah.
some reason.
It's
Soda.
pop.
No, we got
It's
a lot of
soda.
moonshine. I've got a cabinet in here. The shelves are about to break. Our fans bring us moonshine out of these hills up here and load us down. I'm always trying to get rid of them.
Ship it our way. Ship it up north.
I'll
We'll
ship
take it.
myself down there.
We got a friend up on the mountain that it's legal. You know, they got a license, but they get this mountain water. It comes off the highest point in West Virginia down here, and they use that water to make some of this booze around here. And it's so good.
Yeah, some of that moonshine you have to watch. Like I used to be able to drink that moonshine pretty good, and then
a glass full put you down.
one night I took like 3 sips, like halfway through the set, and I barely got through the last song. It was like, whoa, that old Jello legs. So some of it nowadays it'll knock you down.
Is that a buckskin I see behind you there?
It is, yeah. It's actually
Matt.
an elk skin, yeah.
It's an elk skin.
Yeah.
Oh, pull that one over there.
We've got the same thing right here.
I just
I think that's a whitetail.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah. So that was from my first elk that I shot. I shot it with Darren,
Oh, wow.
and I found a guy that could tan it up for us, and
Looks like he did a good job on it. Looks soft.
it's a beautiful
soft.
hide. It's we had planned on doing something with it, like gloves or moccasins or something, but it's so nice just as a big piece that
Underwear.
With a jar of moonshine.
The bullet
There you
hole.
go. Running through the woods.
Does it have the bullet hole in it?
I couldn't find it. I think it was trimmed off.
It
It's
was such a
probably
good
still
shot.
cold up there, isn't it?
Pardon?
What's that?
I was just saying, Matt did such a good shot. Like it just
Yeah.
went right through the head,
Yeah.
right through
It
the
was
eye.
right behind the ear.
yeah, yeah. It was.
Now, I said
It's
it's
cold up
it's
here.
the weather. Are you guys still really cold and snowy up there?
we
By
just
your
broke it.
standards, it's pretty cold, but by our standards, it's t-shirt weather now.
I think we hit 17 degrees Celsius, which I don't know what it is in
It's high 60s.
high 60s.
yeah.
Sure.
Is it? I
Oh,
it was high
that's not
60s
bad.
anyway in there.
No,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
not. It was nice. Yeah.
So it's spring's breaking then. It's springtime.
It
there.
is. There's
Yeah,
buds
so-
on stuff outside.
Yeah,
Last
runoff
round-
is starting to happen.
I always
Uh-oh.
wanted to come up there and do some pike fishing, and you guys got like the best northern pike. We don't have very many northern pike around where we're at here.
In,
Yeah.
I got buddies that come up your way and catch them big enough to eat you, man, like
Yeah.
giant ones.
Our
yeah,
whole
20, 30 pounds.
Yeah.
we've got a whole team of our publishing company in Nashville. They're all from Canada, so that's pretty unique. We work with there's a whole bunch. You know, the whole entire team and staff, I think, originally out of Canada. So
Oh, awesome.
yeah, yeah.
Awesome.
I wanted to ask
There's
you
a
about
direct
your.
flight between here and Nashville, and it's always full. There's like more connections between our two cities than you might realize sometimes. Like the big concert that we have here at our Stampede is called Nashville North. I mean, it's a pale comparison to the music scene in Nashville, of course.
It's disgusting,
It is, but it's fun as hell.
but it's fun as hell.
We've
Yeah.
done a few runs with back in the day we used to do the Road Hammers. You
Yeah,
guys remember the
Oh, yeah.
Road Hammers? They were a good group.
yeah, they're from our
and,
neck of the woods. They're from Cochrane, out near Cochrane. Yeah,
High Valley,
Oh,
you know the
yes.
High Valley boys, and
yeah, High Valley used to tell us about touring up there. They try to explain to us 'cause we've just been knowing we're road warriors. You know, we tour 51 weeks a year down here and all over the country, you know, and all over the world now. But we used to do a lot of it driving ourselves in vans and Sprinter vans. Now we've got a tour bus, a little easier on us. But we used to talk and try to, you know, brag a little bit about the driving, the mileage, and they like, you have no idea what it's like to tour Canada. Like you tour, you
Oh, yeah.
drive 14, 16 hours, and you're halfway to
yeah,
where you're
everything's so
going.
Yeah.
much further apart.
yeah.
It is. Yeah.
There's some broad spots of nothing through Saskatchewan too, where you're like maybe there isn't more towns at a certain point.
Yeah,
Wondering,
like,
No gas
do I need to
station.
turn around?
yeah, exactly.
Now.
Yeah.
I know the whitetail, the deer there are gigantic.
Mhm.
Yeah.
They're scared of everything, though. Terrified, running constantly away from everything. They're
Really?
Are they skittish down where you guys are?
Yeah, they're a hard animal to hunt. They're
Okay.
very smart and most of the places we can get up the mountains or mountains, where they don't see any kind of, you might be the only human they've ever saw. They're a little more tame, I guess.
But
What
our deer are about half the size of your deer, though. They're so much smaller.
really
for body, right?
Yeah,
but
body
the-
size,
And
weight,
rack
weight size.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
northern Saskatchewan deer are some of the largest white-tailed deer in the world.
Yeah, like if a deer gets 110 pounds on our farm, that's a gigantic deer. You guys have 300-pound deer there.
Yeah. Up there is nuts.
But Donnie, I was Googling you.
Because that's
a
what you
thing?
do now. It's 2023. It's not weird to Google people.
I guess,
anymore.
yeah, that's fair.
That's just what we do.
It's not like
Mug
the
shots,
shower
no.
cam I installed in your house came on, and I noticed that. I mean, it
Bravo, by
will
the
come
way.
on, but that's not where the story's going. There's a couple pictures up there where you've got a pretty nice looking. I think you call them 8-pointers. Up here, they'd be like a 4x4
Yeah.
whitetail, and they look like pretty.
Well,
animals.
those are exceptional. Those are. I had to. It took a long time to get those. Actually, that one was a 10-point this past season. So a 5x5 up there by you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you're right, an 8-point and a 10-point. But the 5-point or the 10-point was a 5-year-old deer. I've been watching that deer for 5 years. I've got cameras and everything up on the farm, and I just got lucky. He was chasing a doe. He messed up. You know how they always say that old buck, he didn't get that big by being stupid. Well, there's only one thing out there to make him stupid, and I just happened to be in that woods that day when he come out there being stupid. So
Not true for all of us.
but it was a blessing in a lot of ways because I haven't got to get a deer. I haven't shot a deer for the last 4 or 5 years, so I was due this year, I guess.
Are you a rifle or a bow guy?
A bow.
Oh,
I rifle hunt a little bit too. When I was younger, I did a lot of rifle hunting, but I don't know. I love the bow hunt. I like to shoot a bow, and it's a little tougher. It's a little more intense and a little. I guess the competition is a little. You got to get him in a lot closer.
yeah.
But I like any kind of hunting and fishing. I just like being out there in the woods and doing it.
Yeah. So you keep making reference to your farm. So how big is the farm when we're talking the farm?
144 acres is our farm.
It's just a little hills, and it's just one big holler pretty much with a big ridge around it.
And
And
how big was it in the 1700s when your family?
It was
found it?
40,000 acres.
It was half the. It was
Holy
huge.
hell.
Our
Holy shit!
Only 40,000.
Major
holy.
Daniel Davisson. If you Google Harrison County, Virginia, Major Daniel Davisson, you can get our background. He and his brothers were in the New Jersey area, and he was a major in the Revolutionary War. And for his war efforts, they awarded him 400 acres. And the state of West Virginia at the time was still Virginia. So here he wagoned his 10 siblings and some other folks down here to claim his property. And when he got here, it was still wild and unsettled. And it was, natives. And they built a fort in our town and went on to donated the land for the courthouse. And then he built a saloon.
Had the first saloon.
And
Yeah.
he went on
Go figure.
in a hotel. Then he went on to sell lamp oil and cut all the roads through West Virginia and become a pretty wealthy man. And the oil at the time, it was like the lamp oil was equivalent to electricity, today. So he did pretty well, and ended up acquiring 40,000 acres, and that's since whittled down, and we've got one of the last pieces, and it just so happened to be we got it back in our family in the 40s. My grandfather bought it, and the piece we bought connects to one of our old family cemeteries that our whole Davisson family's pretty much buried in since the 1700s, which is pretty amazing to us. And we take a lot of pride in it.
It's a neat place. And getting back to that, you were asking like hunting wise and fishing and all that. We have 140 acres there, but everybody in that whole area up that holler for miles and in any direction, we can pretty much hunt, fish, ride the four-wheelers. It's family or friends of family, and it's someday when all this slows down, that's where I'll be till
we call them farms down here, but they're not what you guys would call a farm. We farm enough cattle to get beef for the family.
Yeah, we do too.
10 head of cattle.
Yeah. Just to keep the family fed and keep the farm clean.
Chickens or so, and and every now and then we used to have some pigs that we would raise. And
we grow great big gardens. My family's gardeners that my grandfather grew. But I mean, with all them kids, you had to grow a big garden back then. But my dad and my uncles and my aunts, they're all still living, and they all still grow great big gardens, and they can everything. I mean, they from their own salsa to their green beans to their corn to their potatoes it's awesome the way and they give half the town their canned foods too. I mean, it's kind of like the community garden out by my mom and dad's house and out by the farm at Uncle Pete's, and everybody knows they can stop by and get what they want out of the garden. It's just a friendly country simple thing. You know what I mean? Like,
that's awesome.
That's the way it should be, I think.
So that farm you're on, then, it's been in your family since before West Virginia was its own state. That is, that's some Yellowstone shit.
Yeah. Then we had an old. We've dated it back. We was all mountain fiddlers, and the town, which is now Clarksburg, West Virginia, in Harrison County, West Virginia, which they've got a cemetery where Major Daniel Davisson is buried. And it's random that you're asking this because the lady that owns a cemetery or keeps up with the cemetery, it's called the Daughters of Daniel Davisson. This has been, I didn't realize, for like over 100 years, they've did the upkeep on the cemetery in town where he's actually buried. They just reached out to us today to play a show to help keep up with the cemetery and stuff like that. And pretty amazing. She was telling me how they've kept up on things over the years, and pretty wild. You can date back that far. Then that town it ended up becoming a railroad town kind of. So that's our dad's side, the Davisson. Then our mother's side was Italian immigrants that would come in to work the coal mines and get off at off the trains there. And that's our grandmother was full-blooded Italian, and there's a whole Italian community where we live in these mountains here that nobody would ever think that, it's. You can walk through this town still to today, and it's all this Italian bakery, and you just smell so good. We was raised with that, having an full-blooded Italian grandma as well. But
wow.
That's also where the music kind of started, and we've kind of traced it back that far. When the B&O Railroad come out of Clarksburg, they was looking for people to help build it, going clear to Chicago to build a railroad, and they hired one of our great ancestors, and he was just a working man. And the first or second day, it's documented that he got out on the job and started playing. He took his fiddle with him and started playing the fiddle. So they caught on to that and noticed that it was speeding up the production of the rail track getting laid down. So they hired him to walk from Clarksburg, West Virginia, playing the fiddle to Chicago because he sped up production.
No shit.
Music being played, and we had that old fiddle. One of our great uncles.
He was awesome. He was like the historian of the family. I've still got boxes full of all this history. Like he every newspaper article, everything. His name was Harold Jr. Davisson. He was a great fiddler too, but he kept every piece of history, every piece of literature, and we've got all that. So he's the one that founded the Daniel D thing downtown Clarksburg, and him and my dad and uncles, they put a big monument there and all that. But but it was awesome having him around. He's not with us any longer, but he kept everybody informed of all that history and all those, and we've got all those articles.
So our music, we've traced it back to at least 7, 8 generations, and there's 3 generations of us touring right now with our dad and nephews and us.
That's incredible.
That's incredible.
It is.
Going back to kind of like that, Appalachian. Did I say it right?
Yes,
Yeah.
you did.
I think you got it.
Nailed it.
Appalachian. Just think Appalachia coming at you.
Appalachia coming at you from Canada, eh?
Hey,
Mhm.
So obviously, like you said, like the history of the area is very deeply rooted in coal mining. And I mean, you look at, you guys have, at least one coal mining song. I'm going to get this right. Darkest Dungeon.
that's
Yes,
it.
yeah.
That's it.
I mean, like Corblund's got coal mining song. There's Never Leave Harlan Alive.
Yeah,
Never Leave
yeah.
Harlan Alive, which is like fucking awesome.
What a
you-
great
As good as it
song, man.
gets. That's Daryl Scott. Right there.
That song
Yeah.
gives me cold chills right there.
Would you say that then, like, coal mining almost has like this sort of root, not just in the Appalachian music, but all throughout country?
Yeah. Yeah.
From
100%.
down there all the way up to like our plains and cattle herds up
Australia,
here
apparently.
and Australia.
Yeah, and it's almost got its own like vibe, like its own genre. When somebody sings a coal mining song, no matter where they're from or what country, that coal
That's true.
mining, something about it. I don't know if it's just like a sad ballady thing because of what the coal mines are all about, but every coal mining song I hear, that it's like it's in the same box. It's in the same genre.
Yep.
It's pretty amazing. Like something can do that.
I've got a soft spot.
Like you
for
can't
coal
really
mining
sing an
songs.
upbeat, fun, fast coal mining song.
You got a what?
I agree. You can't. No, I've got a soft spot for coal mining songs.
Yeah.
Yeah, me
Yeah.
too. I'm the same way. Chris Knight's a Kentucky boy, and he's a great writer and a great singer songwriter, and he's got some really good coal mining songs.
That is
Oh, man.
pretty amazing that there's like this new wave of musicians coming out of Appalachian. There's a lot of young kids, since Tyler Childers kind of opened some doors for some of these kids and all these social media outlets and stuff. And it's amazing that, these 17, 18-year-old guys and girls are singing these songs about the coal mines and handing down. Somebody called a friend of ours, Sierra Farrell, which is she's from West Virginia, and she's kind of blowing up in the music world now. She's got her own little thing going on, but they called her the coal miner's granddaughter, and I was like, that's pretty wild.
Yeah.
Instead of
Wow.
coal miner's daughter, that's
Oh,
nah,
that's great.
it's when we grew up, coming up, and where we're at here, it's straight up and down when you walk out your door. There's very little level ground. There's just
Yeah.
not much. It's hard to farm because there's just a rock every step, and your options back when we was coming up, and our dad, when he was younger, was, either be a coal miner or work in a glass plant, maybe. We had a couple glass factories around here.
Coal mining was about the only thing left for to make a decent living, and we always had respect because that's work. Them
Yeah.
boys and girls that go down underground and mine coal, buddy, that's work. Like,
And, it was a tough, because we had to look at that, if it wasn't for us being gifted with the talent that we have, that we may have had to be.
most
in
of
the
my
mines.
buddies, as soon as you get out of school, our friends, they went in the coal mines. Like some
Yeah.
of them quit. Some of them didn't even finish schools. They had to go make money for their family, and they went to school. They went to work without finishing school.
So is
We
coal
just
still
filmed that video to Dark as a Dungeon, and we found an old low coal mine, and
34-inch seam. Yeah, it was scary.
it really woke us up. We took our camera crew down, and a friend of mine let us in the mine. He owned the mines, and there was still some little carts there that took them back in, and they was charged. They had the mine hadn't been open in years, but these little buggies still had some juice on them, and he offered the camera guy and us to go back in this low coal. You're talking this high, and you're like this with the ceiling,
the
going
darkest
on your back.
The darkest dark. My hat, the bill of my hat was dragging on the ceiling going.
And
Oh my!
and I said,
Jesus
if
Christ.
this thing runs out of juice back in there a mile back in, how do you get out? He said, you got to belly crawl out. And we went in, and I didn't go as far as the camera guy, but the camera guy went probably a mile back in with nothing, and just a little flashlight.
The guy that was driving mine, he was like, well, we can turn around about another 500 yards up there. We can turn around now. And I said, let's go ahead and turn this thing around now.
But
I got a little bit freaked out when we got back in there. You can't see nothing. I mean, it's as dark can be.
Yeah.
And
it gives you another level of respect.
I've been in a few coal mines, but nothing. I asked that guy, I said, well, what happens if you gotta use the bathroom or something in here? He said, you just roll over on your side. I mean, those guys are laying on their bellies digging coal.
Going 16-hour days like that in there.
That's way down in the most southern part of West Virginia. You can get down to Mingo County, McDowell County, Logan, Boone. It's like a whole nother. It's like a whole nother world down there.
Oh my
They
God.
all coal mine. That's all they have is coal mines.
There's some old pictures. A friend of ours that's got of his family hanging on the wall. They was all old miners and stuff, and they had these oxes and mules that stayed underground. And I kept looking at these pictures at their eyes, and he said, yeah, they've never seen daylight, so they're blind. They've been in dark their entire lives, so they never have developed. Their eyesight would go, and they would be blind their whole life, just living underground.
There's underground streams in there and little pools of water and everything that has like crawdads. I don't know if you guys call them crawdads, crawl crabs. Yeah. They're white. The shell of them's white, and the fish are all white looking in there, and nothing can see. I mean, they've been in the dark. The only way you see them is with a light. So
yeah,
they've never seen any
have
kind
those
of
in
light.
the eastern part of Canada, in the Canadian Shield and in Ontario is the only place where we have like formations like that I'm aware of. But
yeah,
I've seen pictures of that. It's really weird, actually.
It was pretty wild for us.
We was writing with the Gibson brothers, are a bluegrass band. They live in New York, right on the Canadian. They can see Canada from their farm up there, and they was wanting to write, because they was writing with us, some coal mining songs. They lived near somebody that mined or something, and we was trying to tell them some lyrics and stuff, and I was telling them about the birds, the canary. They would send back in these mines in a cage. They would rope it back in, and if that bird come back dead, that means there was a gas back in there, and
right.
It was a dangerous place. And they just thought that was crazy thing they ever heard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm surprised they use like birds and not like, the cousin you don't like, or like mother-in-law.
I knew you were going to say something like that. Like nobody'd ever find you again anyway.
Hey, Jimmy, why don't you send your wife in there? Yeah. Wait a minute.
It's a lot of work to dig a hole that big.
We used to hunt hounds at night, and on our certain parts of our county, we would get on these top of these ridges and hunt, and there was just one place that we'd always have to, if we had somebody with us who wasn't used to hunting that area, dark, back in the day, we'd hunt with mining lights before they had all this technology, and you charge these little headlamps and stuff. You'd have actually a coal miner's light going out at night, and the pack would die, in 2 or 3 hours. So you'd carry 2 of these heavy things up in the woods and barely use it unless you had to. And
Oh, wow.
there were spots where we had some mining accidents back here where the mines would blow up, and these mine shafts, you could drop something down there, and it's probably a mile before, if you fell in these holes, you just be gone.
There's still a lot of those holes around our area too. They tried to fence off a lot of them, but there's still a lot of places people can be back in there like that. So.
Can you imagine just the pile of bones that could be in the bottom of any one of those from just people?
Yeah, you never know.
Wow. I do have a question about your music. Going back a bit, you said, because this record you guys did very collaboratively, it sounds like. Two of the singles you've released, Mountain High and Eastern Kentucky, both fantastic. I had Mountain High was like an earworm. It was stuck in my head for like 5 days.
Yeah.
But they're vastly different sounds, I feel, right? Like they've got not only
Yeah.
just a different feel, but like
100%.
Is that attributed to just the broadness of like
I think
the
so.
Appalachian style, or is that because of the collaborative sort of environment that you guys had for this album?
It was kind of maybe both. We worked with a very, I guess, experienced and talented producer on this project, and we went into it wanting to kind of show where we come from, where we are, and where we're heading, all in one record, and also pay a tribute to home in Appalachia. And we'd wrote 50 some songs and turned in to our producers, which is kind of what you do. Maybe not send that many songs in a normal project. You might send 20 in and
we sent
10 or 12 that stick out. But we had wrote so many songs from the COVID shutdown, and just being, we just got in this very creative spot. First time in our lives, we were not touring on the road 51 weeks a year. And when COVID hit, it just stopped everybody in their tracks. And first thing we did is run for the first time ever to our mountains and got to trout fish and morel hunt. It was in the spring when the shutdown happened, and the brown trout were biting, the morels were popping up. We got these ramps. I don't know if you ever heard of a mountain ramp down here, but it's like a wild onion garlic mix.
Delicious, and they grow wild all over these hills.
But they only grow for about a month or two out of the year. And the old natives and the old timers they believe in these mountains that every spring you eat and kind of just indulge yourself in this ramp, and it cleans your body out. It's a spring cleaning. It cleans your blood, which is very medicinal thing. So we hunted the ramps, and it was turkey season. But about a month and a half after doing all that, being road guys, we started, man, we're missing this music. We waited our whole life to be able to get in the woods for that long. But after being in the woods, it was kind of like, I'm ready to go back making some music. So we just had all these ideas from the downtime and the creative. It was kind of a blessing. These songs just started falling out everywhere. We'd wrote, and then turned in all these 50 some songs, and our producers got them. And, we've been looking at them like this, and they was kind of up here looking down there like, I don't know if you guys realize or not, but about 90% of what you've sent us is about home, Appalachia, West Virginia, trying to get home. And the one producer, Brent Cobb, which is just a legendary songwriter and artist, he's out on tour, a stadium tour with Luke Combs right now. But
nice.
He said, "Can I name this record or help name it?" And I said, "Yeah, what you got?" And he said, "Home is where the heart is." And he said, "You guys are it's coming out of you, whether you know it or not. You're missing home. You want to get home. You're bragging about your home." And I said, "Yeah, that's great." And we stuck with that. And just during that recording process, I guess getting to what you're saying is, there's a lot of influences in us, what we do live. If you see our live show, it's, we are country music. We're country people, but it's a lot more than that. We have such a variety, a wide background of history of what we grew up on. We was those kids into the Southern rock, the Leonard Skinner, the Allman Brothers, and the Willie Nelson and stuff. And we was always edgy, and we jam. We don't pay attention to these rules where a song's supposed to be 3-4 minutes. We may do a 12-minute guitar solo in our set. So
old 12-minute guitar solo here. But I think like that, like Mountain High, that first one when we released that first single, it was the closest, in my opinion. And I've been on it for so long with this record and everything. I may be a little bit off, but I think it sounded closer to what the Davisson brothers had put out before. You know how, like, I don't know if you guys went back to like the Jesse James and all
Yep.
that was kind of like the Davisson brothers sound, that upbeat thing and energy and all that. So I think Mountain High was kind of still a little bit into that, and Eastern Kentucky is far from that. But I think the rest of the record is leaning, it kind of goes like that. It's more down into that Eastern Kentucky sound. It's starting, the next couple singles kind of follow with that. It's kind of hard to explain, but do you see what I mean? Like, I think that Mountain High was kind of still a little bit like the previous Davisson Brothers stuff. So I think after we start releasing these singles, it's kind of gonna fall into place. Like, you'll get it. Like,
kind of like a stepping stone.
The single, yes. There's like there's
Yeah.
something there to it.
But the Eastern Kentucky was definitely, pushing the boundaries, and I'm impressed that you picked up on that. But it shows our guitar, the rock and the more edgy rock side of what we do live. And I wanted to have a couple songs on this record that showcase that. And the producers that we were working with was the perfect people that that could get what we was doing and allow that to happen and pull that out in the mix. And it definitely come out. It's just a guitar driving, the Eastern Kentucky's kind of paying respect to our guitar background and the rock and the mountain rock thing that we do live on stage. And I think they captured it.
That's awesome. Yeah, I like that Eastern Kentucky one. I could see, like, yeah, it's definitely got that bit more like edge to it. Like, I could almost see you guys duetting with like Tyler Childers on that one.
Yeah,
Live.
it's got that gritty thing.
I guess would it be duetting, three-etting? I don't know what the term is.
Collaborating. But now this is some of the first feedback we've got.
Yeah,
from the record,
I love what you're talking about. We haven't really got anybody's feedback yet. So.
Can you just say that again to my wife? I love what you're talking about. This is good feedback.
I'm excited to see what our fans what everybody's going to think of it, because it's different. It's a lot different than what we've put out previously.
And we're always trying to grow, as artists, and that's we like change, and we don't ever want to make two records the same. And I hope that never changes. We like pushing the boundaries and just doing things that are new and trying to go a different place all the time.
Yeah, it's kind of like you write about like where you're at in life and what's the world around you at the time, So things change like that every few years, I think, with those records.
Yeah,
most bands though wouldn't try to do it in one record, and I think it's cool. That
There's no rules, especially with that.
I know you guys got a Nashville trip tomorrow, but if you have time, we do have a little bit of our episode that we call like Guest to Know You, which is basically just some trivia that we fire your way.
Yeah,
you can either accept or reject it and tell us to fuck off.
No,
fire away.
All right. The first one isn't actually trivia, and I think I'm going to know the answer, but if you guys could be a beverage, cocktail or drink or whatever, what would you be and why?
A beverage. Wow.
I would probably be a jar of moonshine.
I knew it. What flavor of moonshine?
Well, my two favorite flavors, apple. I like the apple jack, is what we call it. Some people call it apple pie, but we've had some old friends from way back that were making that before the moonshine got popular on TV and all that. And
I've seen Justified. I've heard about apple pie.
And I like it, but I also like peach. I something about that peach moonshine. But you have to be careful with that peach moonshine, because you can drink it faster than a beer. It tastes so good, it's almost like Kool-Aid or drinking a flavored water.
But
so the next day, the peach moonshine's hard on you.
But like that's pure liquor, right? That's
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah. Yeah. After 2 or 3 drinks, you're like, well, I'll just kill the rest of that jar. Here, get another one out. I don't know.
Do you guys brew your own moonshine, or have you tried?
We've got a family member that does, and we've got 3 friends that got a legal moonshine license. So
We ain't gonna talk about no sacred subject over there.
Nope.
but we've got a friend that his grandma has been making the stuff. I think they've got pictures of her actually on a freaking bottle or something since like the 20s or something. But he's just a guru, and it's hard. We go get it off of him, and it's just hard to drink anybody else's booze because he's just so good at it, and just he's got the proper stills and stuff, and just he's got all that old mountain knowledge plus all the modern knowledge, and he just lives it. He can sit there and drink a bottle of it, not even phase. I'm like, what is going on?
Jesus.
Oh, I drink this every day. I'm like,
Holy shit.
He's just not telling you he's drinking the actual mountain water, and he's getting you fucked.
Yeah. I drank some one night and my eyes were real fuzzy for like 2 days. I don't think there was something bad, something too much lead in it or something. Like the next day I was driving down the road and it was like 24 hours later and I couldn't read the road signs. I was like, man, what's going on? But I think so. You have to watch what all you drink now. So.
All right.
That's fair. So Chris, what about you? You moonshine as well?
no,
Tequila.
I'm more of a
Tequila.
tequila guy, so
He can drink 3 bottles of tequila. Don't let him fool you.
I like our manager. He manages a guy named George Strait as well. So
Never heard of him.
no,
Who?
Name drop.
They've got this tequila down in Nashville, and they sell it everywhere, but it comes out of a spigot, ice cold. They've got a machine. It's called Codigo, and this stuff tastes like water, kind of. It's the purest.
He drinks it like water on a good night.
They get it out of this little village in South America somewhere. This little village, they dig up the what's
I think it's like a cactus root
it's
or something.
Cactus, and
gives it the flavor and the juice. And
they this family just like and on purpose they wouldn't let them get too corporate and like commercialize it. So this family still digs this stuff up and raises it and brews this tequila. And I don't know, it's just so good, and it's almost not like drinking a liquor or anything. It's kind of, I don't know, it's like medicinal or something for you, but it makes you feel so good.
About 3 a.m., it's like drinking a
you can
liquor.
have a couple drinks of that, and it just does something to you. I'm not sure.
I'm not very
it's
good
a
with the
cactus
tequila
thing, but
it doesn't agree with me.
You and me.
Woo!
But now
I got sick on it one time, and I've never liked the taste of it since then.
I like
how certain
Patron
liquors
too.
do.
I like cold, clear tequila. So
Cold, clear tequila. See, there's a song for you.
There's a
Cold, clear
machine that
tequila.
spits out cold tequila is the one thing I learned tonight that I will never forget.
it's like one of them Jägermeister machines, but it's
Yeah.
tequila coming out of it.
That's incredible.
We went through the Jägermeister days too. We
It'll
used to
change
like
your
to do the
mood.
old Jäger bombs.
You can have a bad day, and about 2 drinks of that, your day changes.
I like
Bad
it.
couple days for me. I can't hardly get over them anymore.
I like it. Okay, on to the trivia stuff. So we're going to start off with the internet has told me is West Virginia slang. So you basically are just going to educate us. So what is, if someone says you're in a peck of trouble, what does that mean?
A bunch, a peck's like a gathering of, I don't know, like a basket full.
Okay. So
I think that's what we would say. Go get you a peck of them peppers out there.
How much trouble are you in? If somebody says they're in a peck of, like, is that like handcuffs trouble, or is that don't come back trouble, or what kind of trouble is that?
That's a bunch of trouble.
A peck would be like a sack full, so I guess you'd be in a bunch. Bring us a
okay.
peck of
All
them
right.
apples down there.
There's gonna be some lights flashing if you're in a peck. I get it. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. What's a crick?
That's how he says it. Me and that's one thing we say different. I say creek and he says crick. It's spelled Creek, and our little town out there is Lost Creek, but it's Lost Creek to him. I don't know. A crick would be Crick or something, but I don't know. A crick, maybe a crick is smaller than a creek. I don't know. I guess it's just the way some folks say it. He says crick
is just a small little stream. It's probably, I guess it would be about as wide as your car.
The scientific, the real a creek, the way they do it in like regulations for fishing and stuff is a stream too small to navigate by boat. So that's what a creek would be. If you can't get a boat up it, it's not a river, it's a creek. So.
Fair enough. And a poke.
A
poke. That's a sack. That's a poke.
Well,
I got a poke of tobacco, a little sack of tobacco.
I would have totally got that one wrong.
Yeah.
All right, that was the one. I'm like, the internet's fucked me on this one, but hey, that's fine.
Yeah.
Okay,
go get you a poke. I guess you could. I don't know. A poke could be a couple different things, maybe.
yeah, that's fair. Depends on if you're in prison or not. All right, we're gonna flip it on you. Guess the Canadian slang.
Okay.
What is a toque?
A toque?
No idea.
Really?
Never heard the word.
Maybe I've never heard it neither, but it can't be that hard. A toque. Maybe that is like a toque.
Oh, that's a very good guess considering where we're from. But
Yeah.
It's a beanie. You call it a beanie. It's
okay.
A knitted stocking cap.
That's
Yeah.
a toboggan.
We call them toboggans, but when we get to Nashville, it's a beanie.
No, a toboggan is a sled that you go down a hill.
I know, but we call it toboggan like what it's crazy,
What?
but yeah. Some folks around here call it a beanie, but most of them
I
call
really
it a
thought
toboggan.
we were screwed with that trivia one when he came on and he was wearing one. We were like, wow.
I got, he knows. He's wearing a toque.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what's
What's
a toboggan to you? Sorry, I go back to that. What's the
But
toboggan?
we have toboggan sleds too, so I know what a toboggan sled is. But a toboggan, my mom always said, "Put your toboggan on. It's cold outside." So
Yeah.
the toboggan's always been a beanie, I guess.
So it's
Fair
just
enough.
the context of it that matters. Like,
Yeah.
let's jump on the toboggan. You know what you're doing. Get your toboggan
Yeah,
on, goddammit.
put your
You know what you're
toboggan
doing.
on and get on the toboggan. I guess you
Right.
could ride your toboggan wearing a toboggan.
Okay, the next one, a Mickey.
A Mickey,
Yeah,
Mhm.
maybe a beer.
close.
Oh, that's real close. Yeah, this is an important one, actually. If you're
Yeah.
touring in Canada, you need to know this one.
Maybe a Mickey is the way you drink a beer, or a toast, or a.
Close. It's one of those like half.
We
bottles.
have a beer called a Mickey's Wide Mouth, a little green bottle beer, and it's a
Oh.
small fat beer with a big mouth on it.
No, this is it's a half bottle of liquor. So like not a.
It's like a flask.
I got
Yeah,
you.
like a
So
flask.
a Mickey would be a way to like hide your liquor.
Yeah.
Like-
so,
Yeah,
so
but you
it's-
can get them in the stores though. They're like plastic, so you don't
Oh,
break
okay.
them. But
Okay, I got
they're shaped like a flask, but they're
So
a
you would take
purchasable bottle
the
of liquor.
Mickey out on the snowmobile or sneak the Mickey into the
That's right.
football game
Exactly.
or something.
Yeah.
I got
you got it. You're basically
Who brought
Canadian.
the Mickey? Who got the Mickey, eh?
yeah.
Yeah,
You'll make you a
exactly.
fireball.
That's right.
Somebody better have brought a Mickey.
Well, you
Yeah.
use it correctly,
Yeah.
Donnie. That's
Yeah.
unusual.
All of those.
You've got A figured out.
Yeah. And then the last one for Canadian slang is what's a hoser?
A hoser?
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, that dude's a hoser, man.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's how you
I've
use
heard that. I've heard that. What is
a
that?
bullshitter?
Oh, that's pretty good, but it's not. No.
Yeah.
No.
It's basically like you're an idiot.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
what I
it
was going to
comes
say, but I
from-
couldn't think of the word idiot. Like,
Yeah.
It comes
Yeah,
from
we were gonna-
hockey. It's
We were
playing
gonna-
outdoor hockey with your friends, and if your team lost, you had to hose off the ice, so you were a
Oh,
hoser.
wow.
I get you.
That's where it
I
comes
get you.
Loser.
Yeah, loser. Good. That's it, man.
Yeah.
Which actually ties into the last part of this. Since you guys are musicians, I'm going to give you the name of a song, and you have to tell me which Canadian country artist sings it. So playing right off that, the hockey song.
Is this a country artist or a pop artist?
No, we don't
Country
do pop. Country.
artist.
Say the name of it one more time.
The hockey song.
Sing a little bit of it for me.
Oh, fuck, no. Yeah, let me just sing a song to a couple of musicians. And
It's a good old hockey
I'll
game.
make
It's the best game you can
An
play.
educated guess. Gordon. What brand?
Who is it?
Gordy.
That was good. That was Gordon Lightfoot would
Yeah.
would have been close. Like you're
Yeah.
in the neighborhood there. Yeah.
We did a show with Gordon Lightfoot one time, and it was. I still think about how
Oh, wow.
cool that was. I got to hang with
Oh
him
man.
in a green room and watch him change his strings.
I'm trying to
and stuff.
think of how the hockey song goes. Is it old or new?
Oh,
It's
it's
pretty
old.
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 Yeah.
it's like, oh, fuck, you're going to make me do
It's
it, eh?
it's
Yeah.
the
We're
good
gonna
old
have to
hockey
sing it.
game.
We have
It's
to
the
do
best
it.
game you can play. It's the good old hockey game.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I
The
won't
good
sing
old
it.
Hockey game. It's the best game you can name.
Scott's got it.
It's Stompin' Tom Connors.
Stomping.
All right,
Tom
Stomping
Connors.
Tom
Yeah.
Connors.
Have you heard of Stompin' Tom?
I've heard the name, but I don't know
Okay.
the music. I don't know but I'll check it out as soon as we're done with this.
Fair enough.
I'll learn the hockey song tonight.
All right. I'll switch to an easy one. Any Man of Mine.
Shania Twain.
Shania.
Yeah.
Any man.
All right.
We love Shania Twain.
Perfect.
She picked us to be on a TV show with her a couple years ago. She said that
Oh.
she felt that we grew up in similar areas of the world, of the mountain
wow.
life and stuff. So
Yeah, it was
we
great.
got to hang with her for about a month.
Holy shit.
What
How was
what
that?
TV show was that?
It was
Real Country
Real
on
Country
the USA
on the US.
Network. Shania was she was the host, and it was fun. But she's a sweetheart.
That's awesome. Wow. That garnered a story, which I didn't expect. So win here. Okay. Sleeping
Gordon
on the
Lightfoot.
blacktop.
Sleeping on the blacktop. I don't know. I gotta study up on my Canadian hits up there. I don't.
I can give you another one,
We
maybe.
don't know any U.S. hits.
Maybe there's another one by him you'll know. Motorcycle or The Devil Wears a Suit and Tie.
Oh no.
No.
My nephew says he knows it over here.
Nicholas.
Colder Wall.
Colter Wall.
There it is. Yeah.
Nicholas coming in
Hey,
there.
that guy's the real.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
awesome stuff, man.
And then the last one I'll give you is a real Canadian Albertan guy. It's time to switch to whiskey. Because we've been drinking beer all night.
Did Phil Billy write that, Phil O'Donnell?
No, it's this guy. It's a deep cut. You probably have to
Man,
look
we're
it up.
getting skunked over here. We're getting skunked over here.
We're probably biased because we're forced to listen to like 60% Canadian artists up here on the radio waves. So it's Corb Lund.
Corb Lund. Yep, we know Corb.
So there you go. It's time to switch to whiskey.
Been drinking beer all night.
Who do we go to Australia with? Gordon Branford. Who's your country artist?
Paul Brandt?
Gordon Brant.
No,
Oh,
Paul
now you're
Brandt?
stumping us.
hold on a second.
Paul
Gordy.
Brandt.
They call him Gordy, I think.
No.
Gordon
What?
Branford.
You talking about Gord Downey?
No.
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 We got to spend a couple weeks in Australia with him. I'm supposed to write a song with him soon too. Gordon Branford. I'll think of that.
I'm trying to Google it, but I get Gordon Lightfoot.
10 Trees?
Well, you've stumped us at our own game, so I mean, good for you guys.
Beat us.
I know who you're talking about. Hold on a second.
Gordon Bradford.
That's it. I was
Yeah,
close.
yeah. All
Yeah,
right.
Oh,
yeah.
shit,
He's
okay.
We got to Australia, and we both rubbed Copenhagen snuff, and that's not
Wow.
allowed in Australia. So we have to pay a lot of money to get it through customs. And he was over there, and he was out. He'd been over for like a month and was out. And you know how it is when you ain't got Copenhagen and your nicotine. And we left him a roll of Copenhagen. You thought we'd give him a freaking new truck or something.
If you left a Canadian a roll of Copenhagen, it would be the equivalent of a new truck. It's pricey here.
Yeah.
Now we're supposed to come. We've been talking about it. We've stayed in touch, and hopefully one day he's going to come tour Appalachia with us, and then he wants us to come tour Canada with him and do some festivals and stuff. So.
He's
Yes.
from not very far from us. He's according to this anyway. He's from just east of us in Saskatchewan.
He's also writes for our publishing company in Nashville, so we're supposed to write some with him. So hopefully that happens. We fell in love with him. He's a good old jolly character, and
Cool.
met some of his family over in Australia. I think he's got some family from Australia actually, and it was pretty cool.
That's awesome.
I got a question on your creating collaborative efforts you were talking about earlier in Nashville, where you had a whole bunch of writers in the room and pickers and all these other awesome musicians. When you write, is it writing the music, the sound, or is it the lyrics? Or I'm ignorant to it. So what?
That's a good question. No,
That
because
is a good
everybody does
question.
it different, and we like to do it different all the time too. But that's a very good question. That particular write, we had a wide variety of folks with us. Some of the guys we had with us, like the one guy, he was the international and the national banjo champion. His name's Kyle Tuttle. He was with us on that trip, the retreat we went on. Then we had a bluegrass legend, jamgrass guy named Vince Herman with us, and these two guys had really not been in the writing community much, and so we brought 4 writers from Nashville with us, and one of the writers from Nashville, his name's Wyatt Durrett. He's wrote I think 10 or 11 #1 hits for Zach Brown. He wrote Chicken Fried, Highway 20.
Oh, really?
He wrote
Holy.
what's the colder?
Yeah, colder weather. He
weather.
wrote all those.
But he's wrote a lot of these new Luke Combs big #1s, and we had some of Luke Combs writers. We had Rob Snyder and Channing Wilson, which they're artists too, but they write a lot for other people. And we had Adam Hood, but the one writer, Wyatt, that's got all these amazing big songs, he plays 0 instruments. He writes totally off of vocal melodies. He can't play a guitar or nothing. So, and it's always amazing to me that there's a guy out there. He's the only guy that I know that does that, but he just walks around with a melody in his head all the time. And then the lyrics come, so he's a melody driven guy. And I usually personally start with a guitar part. Then Donnie, my brother, will come in and put the melody and the lyric to it. And that's our process. But a lot of people do it different all the time. But in that situation, we would get like a melody from Wyatt, let him start humming something, because he's just this amazing natural. It's all in his mind. He has nothing with his hands. So he uses his mind to come up with these melodies, and there's something very unique about that. So when we're with him, we'll follow his lead and let him spit this melody out. Then I'll learn that melody on a guitar. Then Donnie and him will start collaborating on a lyric and just fine tuning it. And then
Sometimes, like my brother will bring a banjo with that. He won't even bring a guitar into the writing room. And there's different things. Like our buddy Levi Lowry, he writes a lot of hit songs too for a lot of big artists. But Levi plays the fiddle. Sometimes you can start out with just maybe a little banjo melody going, and then the lyrics will start hitting me, and a vocal melody will hit me. And there's something about a fiddle too, because a fiddle is real melodic. So sometimes we'll get like Levi. We'll be like, hey man, just play one of them pretty fiddle melodies, and he'll get going with that fiddle, and then it may take a few minutes, and then something will spark in, and you'll start writing about like maybe how that fiddle's making you feel right there, and you start writing in that pocket, and then my brother will jump in with the banjo, or I'll grab a guitar and get going with that melody. But it's funny and it's hard to explain. That's a great question, but we write. Well, hell, you never know how it's going to hit you. Sometimes I wake up out of a dead sleep with a song in the entire song, like I'm dreaming it, and get up and I'll write it down
wow.
real quick or sing it in my phone. And I've lost a lot of great songs like that. Wake up in the middle of the night and be like, man, I got this whole song. It's awesome. It's a hit song. And I'll let me sleep another hour and I'll get up and write it down. And then you forget it. You wake up and you're like, man, you don't remember one single piece of that song. It's
so
crazy.
You sleep $1,000 bills and I sleep bullshit. That's what happens.
I snore them away, man, right out the window.
I'm waking up with a lobster tail for a penis in my, like, just terrible dreams like that. Just awful fucking stuff. And you're out there just dreaming up songs. It's real nice for you.
I'm going to make millions. Yeah.
So Matt's drinking a PBR. What are you guys drinking in the draft in the glass?
I got a Far Pilsner.
See, we've never seen that.
City.
So
it's local.
That guy, he's local. He started a little brewery just outside town here, and he won in his first couple years of brewing the world recognition for the beer he makes.
Wow, that's all.
The gold cup or whatever they call it is. So he does really nice stuff. I drink a lot of his particular brew.
Yeah. And Matt, he has his own barley now. Right? He grows.
Wow.
Oh, he grows his own to make it. Yeah,
I've heard of that.
It's just one of the beers in their line, I think, that's made with that barley, and it's a special one that they do out there, and it's based off of that first beer that they made, if I understood it correctly, or something like that. But yeah,
I remember one time we had a friend that brewed beer, and I was young and didn't realize that beer didn't age like whiskey. So we got into his old beer, and I was like, "What is this stuff?
Mule piss."
yeah.
So
I like a good brewed beer. I'm a beer guy like that. So what are you drinking there?
I've got our the Plainsman favorite, just the old Pilsner.
From
Gordon
Saskatchewan.
Bradford.
Yeah.
Gordon Bradford will call that vitamin P. If you say to Gordon Bradford, I need a vitamin P, that's what he'll send you.
It's the first beer I ever tasted because my dad used to drink it, and I took a sip of it and I'm like, fuck, that's nasty. And now here I am,
you like it. Yeah.
picking it over bottled
We're
water.
kind of the same way. My dad, he always drank like the nastiest, cheapest, whatever. He could be out there working in the hay. And it'd be hot. Never even had a cooler. He just put the case right in the bed of the truck and be out there in the hayfield putting up hay in July and August and drink that warm beer. I threw up the first time I drank one of them, and then I like them now.
Old Milwaukee, and it's got fine
champagne
quality brew beer
or
on it or something. He'll say, "See it right there on the can. That's the finest beer ever made."
Yeah,
it says it right on the can.
You get like 20 of them for $4.99 or something down at the Stop and Go. And he's like, and you take him somewhere like the fancy place or something. He's real old fashioned anyway. And like, you try to buy him a good beer and he can't even drink it. He's like, oh my gosh, that's the worst beer I ever drank, boys. And I'm like, man, you don't even know what a good beer is.
So
he went to Nashville with us and bought everybody around shots. It ain't been but a couple of years ago. He came and said, "You believe that shit was $17 a shot?" I said, "Hell, you buy a whole goddamn bottle of that, Brad."
So I don't know what it's like in Australia, but if you guys ever come up and tour Canada, which you should, and give us a call if you do.
Definitely.
But you're gonna have a fucking heart attack when you go to buy beer here, because it is not like it is down there. We are taxed.
Even with the exchange rate, you're gonna shit a brick.
Wow. It's $100 a case in Australia for 24 beers.
Okay, yeah, it's not that bad.
It's not that bad. So, okay.
But you're still way where I've got friends, Canadian friends, and they tell me like when they go buy a case of beer and a pack of cigarettes, like what it costs, and I'm like, we could do that for 4 nights in a row for what you pay in one night.
Yeah.
Like on average, I think our beer, like middle of the road beer, this isn't middle of the road. This is a little lower, but you'll say middle of the road. Like your PBR and stuff, you're paying easy $2 a can.
Yeah. My
It's
dad,
crazy.
we go to some other friends' hunting camp every deer season. After we hunted our farm, we go down and my dad always brings like 3 or 4 cases of that old Milwaukee, like that rotten
Yeah.
gut that nobody drinks. And so those guys always make fun of him, and they have this saying, like when my dad shows up, they'll put their arm around him and be like, "Laid off, are you?" Because it's like that's the beer they all drank when they didn't have a job. Like so, last year we show up for camp, and they had all these hooded sweatshirts made with "Laid off, are you?" with a picture of my dad in the old Milwaukee can.
Oh,
Now,
that's
it's kinda like-
Premium beer. That's what
Yeah,
it
it's
says
a
on
premium.
it.
He'll get the can
Yeah,
out
it
and say,
says
"See,
premium
boys, it
beer."
says premium beer. Now that's what you need to drink."
I love.
I
the
drank-
I love the.
We were
damn
out. We
sweaters,
were out
man.
at hunt. Yeah, I drank about 10 of them one night with him because I was out of my beer and I was so sick the next day. I don't know how he does it.
You get used to it, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
Or you
just-
die young. I don't know.
Yeah. I'm the oldest looking 24-year-old out there.
Thanks to PBR.
A peat
Um,
beer.
What's
I'll
the beer
remember
of
the
choice
peat
in
beer.
What's the beer of choice in your guys' area? I was just in Pittsburgh. I was just exposed to Yingling,
Yuengling?
which
Yuengling.
I thought,
Yingling's a pretty good taste.
We're only about 90 miles south of Pittsburgh.
Yeah, you were
where
right
we
here
live.
close to us.
yeah, I didn't realize
Yeah.
that. I thought it was much further away. It turns out it's only an hour and a half or so, and
He knows. He was there watching you.
yeah,
He put
Yeah,
my
that's
shower
the biggest
can in.
beer,
yeah.
probably
How do you think the
biggest,
shower camera?
the biggest selling beer down here right now, I would say, is Michelob Ultra.
Oh yeah,
Okay. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's a light
Everybody
beer. That'd
loves
probably be like a water to you guys. You probably
It-
wouldn't even be able to drink it.
It's not just like water; it is water.
Yeah, I don't like it. You can drink 50 of those things. All they do is like bloat you up, and you don't even get drunk from it.
It's like what did Monty Python say? It's like having sex in a canoe. Fucking close to water. Well, boys, I don't want to keep you too much longer. I have one last question.
Yep.
Can you use the term choochin in a sentence?
Choochin.
Choochin.
Choochin. The word, gentlemen, is choochin.
Chooching.
Is my brother choochin right now?
We've been chooching all night.
He might be. I'm not sure.
I think choochin is probably maybe something you and your lady friend do out there in the tundra or something.
Oh.
You definitely could. Yeah. That's not.
Smooching.
You've been chooching, haven't you? We tend to use it a little more like we've got 2 uses for it over where we hang out, and that's either like if you're fermenting something, right? Like beer, whatever. Like that's if it's still going, that's still choochin. Or if you've got
Haven't
a
opened that
fire
up yet.
Choochin,
Choochin.
something going, something.
and that fire is
going
really
on.
going,
Something. Yeah,
that
I
fire
got
is
you.
choochin.
I got you. It's choochin.
So we expect to hear that in a song sometime soon.
No.
What
And,
how would you use one of our words called pert near? That was our grandpa used that all the time. Pert
P-
near.
PAR
PERTNEAR.
partner.
Oh, almost.
Almost,
Yep,
yeah.
you got it. You got it. Pert near.
Really?
Yep.
Good for you, Scott.
Yep. You're pert near there, son. You're pert near there.
Oh, I love it.
Pert
I'm going to
near.
use that at work tomorrow. No one's going to have a fucking clue what I'm
Yeah.
saying. I love it.
Totally.
Pert-
Yeah.
Pert near got her done, buddy.
I remember when we were in high school, we used to drink Canadian Mist. Did you guys ever drink Canadian Mist?
Oh my God.
No. What the fuck is that? Somebody has played
Lord
a terrible
Calvert.
joke on you, Donnie.
That is,
You need
I
to.
haven't- that's a long time. I haven't heard that in.
All right. I know. I give up. What is it?
Canadian Mist.
I don't.
It
know,
was a
Jared. You gotta
bourbon.
tell us.
It was like a cheap bourbon when we were in school. Like you
$7 a
They always
gallon.
had it at like our high school parties, and like
Canadian
the
Mist.
kid
You
that
could get a half gallon for $7.
the kid that had the fake ID would run in the liquor store and get like a case of Canadian Mist, and it was horrible.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh my God.
No,
I think
had
I
no
saw
idea.
that
I think
once
it was
in
like
my
a low
life
grade-
in around high school, and I was like, nope.
Like a Lord Calvert. That's kind of like a cheaper Lord
It's
Kelvin.
still in business.
Do you guys drink Labatt's beer a lot? Do you drink the Labatt's?
I just like to
So-
drink, so yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, we'll drink whatever. Labatt's is kind of like they don't make the traditional Labatt stuff anymore. I think they might even be
okay.
bought out now, aren't they? But like
Yeah,
Labatt Blue,
It's owned
Labatt
by
Blue
Yeah.
used to
Anheuser
be
now.
awesome.
Yeah.
We used to go to this. We used to go to this big. We played this great big festival in the state of Ohio. Here it was called Jamboree in the Hills, and it was like the Super Bowl of country music. It was huge. They don't do it. They right before the pandemic and everything was their final year, but it went on since like 1970. But it was a big one. But we had a lot of friends from Canada that would come down and camp there by us, and they would bring like a U-Haul full of Labatt's Blue,
Yeah.
and that's what we would drink with them
It
there.
was a good
I
beer.
always thought it was a pretty good beer.
When I was a little kid, that was like a staple dad beer. Like it was either that or Club, and those two
I
beers
got
were
you.
just like floating around, and
Yeah.
yeah,
They had the best
But
commercials.
they had the best commercials. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's long gone now. It's been replaced by like our craft brewery scene out here is crazy now. So it's very much like local beer all over the place, with the exception of
Yeah, that's kind of how it is right here in our little small town too. We've got like 4 breweries now, and 5 years ago we didn't have any. So now it's popular. It's a popular thing and the WVU West Virginia University is right here in Morgantown above us about an hour, and there's like 35,000 college kids there. So
holy
it's
shit.
really getting a lot of traction with the college kids, and going to get the good beers.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, right on, guys. Thank you so much for coming and
Hey,
spending
hey,
Yeah, it
your,
was
you-
great to chat with you guys.
your
Yeah.
late
Hopefully we
evening.
get to come up there and have a beer with you.
I
Yeah.
love
Yeah,
that.
absolutely.
I want to go trout fishing in Canada, so let's make a trout fishing
So
trip happen.
trout
I'm in.
fishing and then pike fishing, so we'll have to drive a couple hours
Yeah.
in either direction, but that's no problem.
That's worth it.
Let's
yeah.
do it.
Sounds like a plan to me.
Mhm.
Perfect. Let's set
Have
it
a
up.
good
I
trip to
love it.
Nashville, and I agree with Darren. Eastern Kentucky just blew my socks off like that. That.
Well,
that
thank
was
you.
a
We
hell of a
haven't got
trip.
any feedback yet. You guys are the first folks to tell us
Yeah.
anything, so
I-
I've been a little bit nervous.
No, it's been, yeah, we've been listening to your music. It's awesome. There's one song that spoke to me because I feel like it was like a magic 8-ball. Like this is where my life's gonna end up, and it was Dead on a Fence Line.
That's very likely.
We
Extremely.
we wrote that song on our farm.
He had the hook.
We are squirrel hunters by just heritage and tradition. We've hunted. That's just part of our culture down here. Our grandfather just, he's passed down. Just it's kind of, there's a lot of skill, believe it or not, to hunting squirrels
believe
here.
it.
And he used to hunt them with an old muzzleloader, and we take it very serious. And there's a lot of art to it, kind of thing. It's just old wisdom handed down through the family. And we hunt, and you got to kind of really sneak up in these woods, and it's a lot of skill to get close enough with a shotgun to hunt them. And I'd been hunting that morning, and coming off the hill, we got an old fence line, an old barbed wire fence that still grows through our big oaks up there. And we'll find an old whiskey bottle from my grandfather or ancestors up there where they used to hunt hounds at night, and take their bottles up there and listen to they just listen to the dogs run and build a fire. So we can still track our grandfather from half full little bottles all over the place up there. My dad, he'll grab them and still drink them.
Oh, shit.
They've been up
Really?
there for 60 years and put them back and look up the sky and salute to them and put the bottle back. But
That's special.
I was hunting that morning, and I shot a squirrel, and it fell down. It landed and bounced right on one of them old barbed wire fences coming out of that oak tree, and laid there. I come off a hill. I said, Donnie, I got a song title called Mountain Dad on the Fence Line. That's how that song
I
comes.
love
about.
it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic.
We take those squirrels and deep. If you ever had a squirrel wing, you would never eat another chicken wing. We take those squirrels and deep fry them and make different wing sauces and quarter them up and deep fry and make squirrel wings.
Dip them in ranch.
Really?
Squirrel gravy, fried squirrel, boiled
it's
squirrel.
a delicacy. They live on hickory nuts. It's people think, oh my god, a
It's
squirrel.
the sweetest wild meat you'll ever eat.
Huh.
A young gray squirrel.
I've never had a squirrel. That'd be amazing to try.
Yep.
I would definitely be into that. Not our
Yeah.
squirrels up here.
We'll bring you guys some squirrel
Yeah, yeah.
wings and
You had me a deep fry.
different beers when we come up.
Sounds
I
good.
love it. All right, thank you guys so much. Home
Thanks a lot.
Hey,
This
awesome
was really
chatting
fun.
with you guys.
Home is Where the Heart Is comes out April 28th.
Yep.
All digital.
Anywhere
outlets.
you can stream it. And
Enjoy
you guys are
yourself
always
at the
on tour.
Yeah.
Grand Old Opry.
Yeah.
On the
Congratulations
29th, the
on
next
that,
night.
Mike.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you guys. Thank you guys for the feedback. And, hit us up. Let us know what's going on. We'll come up and see you guys.
Sounds great.
That
We
sounds
love it.
awesome.
Thank you, gentlemen.
All right. Thank you guys.
Have a
you.
great night. Those guys
All
are
right.
beauties.
Just normal guys.
Yeah.
Just normal guys.
they're amazing
but everybody
people.
likes them.
They're like us, but with talent.
Yeah, they're like us, but with talent.
Well,
Exactly. They're
how
likable.
unfair is that they have generations worth of talent inside of them, and yet what do I got?
Yeah.
I got nothing.
I got generations of rot gut and back problems.
They have
Alcoholism.
They have
Yep.
so much generational stuff that they have booze they can just drink in trees.
Okay, that is going to be my legacy to my grandkids. Is they're going to be able to walk
Yes.
our fence lines and pick up my old booze bottles and drink them, and then
I
find my
have
body.
never felt
Yeah.
more poor than talking to those guys where they're like, I have whiskey on my fence line that I can just drink every 20 feet. I'm like, what have I been doing with my life?
Yeah, your dad didn't set it up right. That's really what it
Yeah.
was.
It's all fucked. Everything's fucked. I got to go up there and fix that fence line.
That's yeah, those guys are fantastic.
Yeah.
I'm glad they came on, and I guess that's a wrap for tonight. So
Okay, you boys have
unless
a
we're
great night.
found dead on a fence line,
I'm gonna go
Matt?
take another beer. I'm gonna go finish this. I've
you
been
should.
saving this.
And what should everybody else do?
I'm going to go smoke the rest of a joint, and then I'm going to watch some TV.
Matt,
And
just
then
say the
we'll go to bed.
fucking sign off.
Keep on choochin.
Keep on.
Choochin!
Hey, nobody. Don't forget to check out mutteringpines.com for our line of apparel and follow us on social and anywhere you listen to or watch your favorite podcasts. And remember, keep on choochin'.